DETV Sports Update is powered by DART, Delaware's transit service. Moving forward.
What's up, Delaware? We are back on schedule. New season right around the corner for us and the NFL as we're back here on a Monday evening. Jason McCall, Matthew Maurer, the whole crew here, Dennis behind the glass. We got a lot to get to today, as always. Jason going to kick off with some big news in the world of track today. We'll have Dennis's question of the week, go over two new divisions, the AFC South as well as the NFC West. Talk a little bit about the Stephon Diggs news that we heard on First Take this morning. Talk a little about USA Basketball. They improved to 5-0 ahead of the World Cup beginning on Saturday. And Jonathan Taylor now going to give permission to seek a trade. So a lot to get into today, guys. And Jason, let's kick it off.
Good evening, world. In case you missed it this afternoon, around about 3:50, right before 4 o'clock p.m. today, World Championships, 100-meter final. Let's set the scene. Sha'Carri Richardson, we all know about her troubles, but we all know about her triumphs as well, still reclaiming her name and still being one of the fastest women in the world. And today she won the 100-meter final for the World Championship, which is a big accomplishment. She beat two of the fastest women in the world. She beat the two-time reigning Olympic gold medalist, Shirley Fraser-Pryce, and the second fastest woman in the world, Shericka Jackson. And she finished with a time of 10.65 seconds, which is the fastest time ever in the World Championship 100-meter women's final. And she did it out of the 9th lane. Lane 9, for those of you who have ran track like myself, you know that lane 9 is usually assigned to the person with the slowest time in the previous race. And here you see here, she had a decent start, but then she comes off your screen furthest on the left and just mows them down. And she couldn't believe she won. Looking up at the scoreboard, you see Shirley Fraser-Pryce and Shericka Jackson in lane 4 and 5 respectively, and then Sha'Carri Richardson just brings home the gold. But also today, the World Championships, you had Noah Lyles winning the 100-meter final for the men's side. So the first time that both the men and women have won the 100-meter final of the World Championships since 2017. And one of those individuals who won in 2017 on the women's side was the late Tori Bowie, who just recently passed away a few months ago. So great job to a U.S. team on that. And also, my man Holloway, 110-meter hurdles, 3-time world champion. He won in the last 2019, he won 2022, and he won this year as well. First time a three-peat champion in that event in about 30, 40 years. So it's a good time to be a USA track and field fan on both sides, and looking forward to Paris next year.
Gotta love that. USA Basketball and USA Track doing some big things here this week. And again, we're privileged here at DETV to be able to have a platform to talk about stuff like that. And, you know, we got to go back and highlight the Sha'Carri Richardson, obviously the stuff that you mentioned that she went through, how, you know, a ridiculous thing to happen to her a couple years ago. And very glad to see her back sitting atop that podium, because how ridiculous was that? So that's good to see.
It was our first world championship ever, too.
That's right.
So
you gotta
first time getting there and won it the first time, and like I said, reclaiming her name from the banning from marijuana and all the ridicule and stuff like that. So always remember, it's not how you start, it really is how you finish, but she's also just getting started.
And that's a nice little job there from Jason to get us going here today. So usually we start off with saying how you guys' week has been. We were together on Thursday night. We got some preseason action tonight in the NFL with a little bit later. We'll talk about that. But how you guys feeling here on a Monday to be back on schedule now?
Man, it was a busy weekend. It was a great weekend, a great time. I'm loving preseason football right now. You know, I'm getting to see some former college stars getting their chance to shine. You know, they're not going to be the starters, but they're getting some meaningful playing time. And seeing those 5th, 6th, and 7th round draft picks who are scratching and clawing to make the team, and seeing them make great strides. And you know, I have a few friends out there, you know, they say that, oh, preseason doesn't count, it doesn't matter. That's true, but my team has a streak 25 games. That's okay. But secondly,
that's right. That's actually big tonight.
You play to win the game, so you don't want to have a bad preseason, then your outlook for the season is bleak. So you want to put your best foot forward at all times. Anytime you step out the door, step on the field, step on the court, step in this chair. We're going to give you your best. So
That's absolutely right, man.
Practice.
Jason getting us fired up
There we go.
today with some great stuff. Matt, how you feeling here today on a Monday? We are back. Ready to talk a little basketball, some more football.
Yeah, man, I'm liking this shirt here, man.
I knew he wasn't gonna take you long
Finally
to say it
decided
now.
to get
You know,
stylish on the show here.
I guess you can figure
and
out.
support a real team.
You can figure out
that
what
wins.
division we'll be talking about
Since
today.
1994, right? It hasn't won since then? Okay.
A little preview of who I might be
What?
picking to win the NFC West.
Hey, man, you got to go to the dance a couple times. Sometimes you get rejected, man.
Well,
We
they'll
gotta
be getting
reject
rejected
that.
a lot
We'll see
recently.
if they get Nick
Hey,
Bosa.
man, it
back in
happens, you know.
Oh, my elbow. I'm sorry. What happened?
Hey, man, it happens, man.
We'll see.
But
Big
where we
year for
going
Brock
last year?
Purdy.
Watching like y'all.
Okay.
Oh man, here we
But
go.
y'all
This is a
watch
good
before
start.
we watch, so it's all good. It's all good.
Well, let's dive right in and kick things off with USA basketball before we end with our team previews, guys. 5-0 now after the win over Germany yesterday, trailed by 14, double digits there in that first half, able to come back and get that victory, 99-91, led by the Ant-Man. Steve Kerr said he knows he's the guy. That was the idea when they started this team. When they brought him in, they wanted him to be that killer and maybe the guy to go to when they needed a bucket. He gives them 34, Jason, here for USA basketball. They come back, as I mentioned, get the win. Two other guys in double figures, Halliburton and Austin Reeves added 16. Talk a little bit about what you've seen of USA basketball and how excited are you for Saturday when they kick things off with New Zealand?
I'm very excited about this current iteration of USA men's basketball. I'm excited for Steve Kerr actually coaching them. He gives them a different dynamic than they've had in the past with other coaches. But also, this team is young and hungry. This team is what the '04 Olympic team in Athens should have been. But you had Larry Brown coaching, who didn't really like coaching first and second year players. Another story for another day. But this roster is made up of complete players. You have a lot of players who play both sides of the ball. So you have a lot of two-way players. You have a lot of unselfish players. But you also have players who can go get their bucket at any given time. And Anthony Edwards, Ant-Man, is a walking bucket. I mean, he really just does it all. And then you have Jaren Jackson Jr. on the team, NBA Defensive Player of the Year. You have Tyrese Halliburton. You have Jalen Brunson. I mean, you have Austin Reeves is on the team. McCall Bridges.
You got the Nova boys.
Nova boys. But it's a loaded non-superstar team, if you will. But they're still superstars in their own right. But as far as the mega stars, that's not that. But we don't play those people in the World Cup anymore. Right, yeah. Last time we had a superstar team in the World Cup was the Dream Team 2. 94 in Toronto with Morning and Sean Kemp and those guys. Last time we had a USA roster of superstars playing in the World Cup. So, but these guys are great. They needed every one of Anthony Edwards' 34 points. I think he went 11 for 21 from the field, and he scored 10 straight in the fourth quarter. They went on like a 14-5 run to close out the game. So, they needed all of that. So he really is the guy, and you can see it. You can feel it. So that's just going to translate into the next NBA season for him. And sky's the limit.
And you mentioned USA basketball, and obviously if you're not a big USA basketball fan or you don't follow it, obviously as Jason mentioned, the Olympics and the World Cup, completely two different things, two different teams, etc. Matt, Jason just talked about it. Anthony Edwards said it's the most fun he's had playing basketball in a long time. And, coming out of the draft, he said his favorite sport, I believe he said, was football when he came out of the draft. He wanted to be a football player. So now, like he says, he's having the most fun he's ever had. What do you think about Anthony Edwards and this USA team? They're going to be the champions here in a couple weeks?
Yeah, I mean, listen, Anthony Edwards, anybody who's going down south, football is God down there. I think basketball's starting to make some inroads with some of those high-level athletes, and Anthony Edwards, I'm sorry.
Football
I think
in
is
the head, that's right.
Yeah. I think he's the.
We'll talk about him in a little bit later.
I think he's the convergent. He's the guy that's converting. I think a lot of those Georgia kids, those Southern kids that are saying like, oh, this guy. Yeah, I think maybe I'll give that a try. Maybe I'll, play both sports. And that's the other thing, too, in this era of specialization where kids are playing one sport, I think, you're going to start to see, I think, a return of maybe guys playing two sports, maybe not in high school, but certainly in the fundamentals in elementary schools, maybe they'll start playing two sports. Because for a while, there were parents that were saying, like, oh, I'm just having my kid just play one sport and that's it. So maybe we'll get a little return of that.
I just want to piggyback on that. I hate specialization.
Yeah, I'm with you too, 100%.
In youth sports. When you have a young athlete, male or female, that play multiple sports, you're stretching their body and different muscles are gaining different strengths and different ways of using them. So you're building up total endurance throughout their entire body by playing multiple sports. So you might work on hand-eye coordination in softball or baseball. You might work on footwork playing soccer, or you may work on just sheer speed running track or playing football, the case may be. So there's nothing wrong with specializing in sports. Some of our favorite athletes of all time were more than one sport stars. I mean, we can even go as far as back as Jackie Robinson. He was a 4-sport letterman at UCLA. He played basketball, he played baseball, he played football, and he ran track and was a star in all those sports.
Maybe could have played either.
So you got to remember, he played baseball because the NBA wasn't integrated yet either in 1947. So you got to think, more players would have been in more leagues earlier on had we had the chance to do so. But as far as Anthony Edwards is concerned, I have a hot take, my first one for the evening. Is Anthony Edwards what we want Zion Williamson to be right now, from a basketball standpoint?
Absolutely.
As far as sheer power and dominance and agility and everything?
Yeah, we want the mindset.
Yeah.
Like Anthony Edwards has that. He wants to destroy you. He doesn't want to just score over you. He wants to belittle you. Like that movie on Netflix, you guys get a chance to check that out. I think he's playing a character, but everybody who knows Anthony Edwards has said that's Anthony
You're
Edwards.
talking about the Adam Sandler.
The Adam Sandler movie on Netflix. They all have said
Hustle.
Yeah, Hustle. They all have said that's not a character. Like he's got a different name, but that's how he really is. And I think Zion, we want that. We want we want the Barkley. We want the nasty, tear down the rim, go destroy it, leave no prisoners. We want that, but unfortunately, Zion's health and other things we know off the court.
And Nick, if I may, I'm gonna tell you guys something. He reminds me of another Georgia basketball product that's in the Hall of Fame.
Don't you say it. Don't you?
You know I'm getting ready to say. Ooh. That's who he reminds me of. Number 21. On the court, number 1 in your heart. Human highlight reel himself, Dominique Wilkins. I mean, the aggression he dunks the ball with. Dominique Wilkins had a full game, a mid-range jumper. People forget that, just like they forget about Vince Carter being one of the best shooters ever and still being the best dunker at the same time. He's in that mold, in that mind, in that ilk. So I'm really high on Anthony Edwards, but I'm high on, again, just to tie the knot on everything, I'm high on this entire USA team. I don't know if I would take this full team to Paris if they had the opportunity to, but you can see 4 or 5 guys on this team make the roster for Paris for the 2024 Olympics. I can see it. So it's not that far-fetched of an idea, but you do already need some heavy hitters when it comes to Olympic pool play, but this team is still good enough to definitely make a run, and they definitely will win the FIBA World Cup.
Definitely. Right? They're looking good so far. They'll look to remain undefeated on Saturday when they take on New Zealand. They're on their way. Now, we're going to stick with basketball here just for the next moment. Some other news today. James Harden coming out, and they figured out what he referred to Daryl Morey as lying about, and it was the fact it wasn't, anything about the money or the finances maybe like we would have thought. It turns out he called him a liar for not trading him quicker or as quickly as he said he would have. Does that change anything for you guys in the storyline?
It does not, because, again, he's a crybaby, number 1. But number 2, we know Daryl Morey's a liar. His NBA GM, they're all liars. All GMs are liars at some point in time. You have to sell hopes and dreams. And you trade your best players. You cut your best players in the sports world. It is a business at the end of the day. There's no allegiance to anyone. Your only allegiance to the bottom line, which is either making money or winning a championship. There is no allegiance to a particular player or person the entire time. So, Jerry Krause let Jordan walk. Let's talk about that. So, if Jerry Krause and Ron Stoker let Jordan walk, you think they're not going to let you be in your own little world, James Harden? For God's sake, Karl Malone played for the Lakers after playing for the Utah Jazz for 18 seasons? No player is safe. Jerry Rice changed uniform 3 times after playing for the Niners. He wore a Seahawks uniform, for God's sake.
That's right, he did after the Raiders.
And a Broncos uniform. He retired with the Broncos.
And a Popeyes uniform. Still not forgetting that, Jerry.
Oh.
Still not
forgetting that. Yeah, we're not doing that. But no, James Harden is his own worst enemy. He should just be quiet right now. Just lose some more weight and work on your game. But with that whole situation, it's more of like, we told you so. You shouldn't have asked to be traded to Philly in the first place.
I'm going to say that about a couple different places he forced his way out of. Matt, seems like Maurer's maybe easing it a little bit. Says Terrence Mann won't be a deal breaker in that deal potentially. He's looking for first-round picks. That's what he wants from the Clippers at a potential deal for James Harden. You heard the comments. It's that he didn't get traded quick enough. That's why he's a liar. Does that change anything for you?
I'm not trading any first-round picks for James Harden.
Thank you.
I'm going to trade you maybe some salary cap dumps. I'll take a guy that's making $30 million that I no longer want, and we can make that deal. But why am I going to give you currency? For what? For a guy that clearly believes he's still a guy?
We'll see if Daryl Morey's going to be a wizard then. Because if he can get something like that in a trade with the Clippers, you're right, it'll be some magic because we saw we couldn't get anything for Ben Simmons.
Let me just say this. I think that deal was possible before Rudy Gobert. After the Rudy Gobert trade, I think everybody's reevaluated how you look at these draft picks.
And Nick, we said it on air. The Rudy Gobert trade is the worst trade in sports since the Herschel Walker Dallas to Minnesota trade.
My goodness. I mean,
thinking
back on
it's the exact same trade.
It's 5 firsts.
It's the exact same trade.
It is a little bit ridiculous to think about that.
Horrible.
Yeah.
We'll wait and see how this turns out. Original reports were that Harden was going to come to camp, make things uncomfortable. New reports are he will not be showing up to training camp.
Yeah,
so
30 days, so that's on him.
Probably won't see him play another game in a Sixer uniform. We'll see how it unfolds a lot of time before October and our NBA season gets underway. Lastly, before we jump into the preview, Stephon Diggs making some headlines today, but not for anything that he did. Stephen A. Smith on First Take announcing that he had sources that Diggs still wants out of Buffalo privately. And again, wanted to credit his sources and say that he's got them, they're real. Stephon Diggs tweeting out an hour after the show that is not true, and he don't know who the sources are, etc. But you never know who's lying. Does Diggs want out of Buffalo? Is there going to be? Jason, you talked about this tension when we did our division preview of the AFC East. We kind of thought, or at least I did, maybe it was swept under the rug. You can handle your business like men and go out there and perform. I don't know. Maybe there's some feelings. Diggs not happy.
I'm going to toss it. I'm going to do a oop to my man Matt on this one. Go ahead, take this first, man. I see it in your eyes.
He doesn't want to be traded. Right. Yeah. Okay. Same way that Draymond Green and Kevin Durant were best friends after that debacle. Listen. I truly believe in relationships, whether it's teammates, whether it's business, no matter what it is. There comes a point where you as an individual have say, you know what, this ain't gonna work. I know it ain't gonna work. I want out. And yeah, publicly he's doing the right thing as an athlete. You don't want to muddy the waters that kind of make the trade soup sour because you want to be moved. You want to be
soup.
Yeah, the trade soup. You don't want to make it sour because if you go in there and you start complaining, then the other team say, "Well, I don't know, he's not a great teammate. Look at what he's saying." And then, so of course, wink, wink. I don't want it. I don't know where he got it from, but
publicly,
yeah, publicly. Privately, he's like, "Look, I'm out, bro. I want out." And the reason why he wants out is simple, and people don't want to hear it. People don't want to talk about it. Me and Jason alluded to this. Josh Allen ain't that guy, man. Like we look, we love to say that he's the white Cam Newton. We love to say that he's a great athlete. He ain't that guy. And I think Diggs knows it. And Diggs has had mediocre QBs for years.
All right, stop. However, I was going to go there. He had a Pro Bowl QB in Kirk Cousins.
Yes.
He had some of his best numbers still in his career with Kirk Cousins. Is Stephon Diggs acting a little bit like James Harden right now?
No.
See, I think I agree with Jason a little bit here.
I don't believe in him.
I mean, but like you said, if you don't believe in him, there are only 2 other quarterbacks that you would say 2 or 3 that you would give you a better chance to make the Super Bowl than him, right? I mean, I think it's kind of like a little bit of a spoiled thing going on.
Let me ask you this. If in a scenario.
Like, who did you want to go? Kansas City and play with Mahomes?
No, you can't go there. Sorry.
No, that's what I mean. But where else? I don't get. Like Josh Allen is if you want to being worst case scenario, 4th or 5th best quarterback in the league, wouldn't you say?
But
in a bad.
But you know what? Football teams are really weird mechanisms that there's a lot at there. We saw this in Seattle, where there reaches a point where players say, you know what, I'm tired of this. This dude ain't that guy. They said it to about Russell Wilson for years. And after that Super Bowl debacle where they didn't give it to the guy named Beast Mode at the 1 yard line, everybody came out and said, you started hearing all this stuff. Well, this is, of course, he's never been held accountable. All of a sudden, we don't know what's going on in that Buffalo Bills back room and what's being said with those players. And we don't know, like, when those coaches sit out there and they review the games, who they're assigning blame to and who they're not assigning blame to. And after a while, like, football teams, you know, it's the beauty of, and I'm mixing sports here, but it's one of the beauties of Greg Popovich, right? He always held everybody accountable. In football, we don't like to say this, but sometimes we don't hold the QBs.
All the time.
That's
Well,
true.
depending on the
like
QB,
your
though.
Belichick, et
Because
cetera,
Belichick, they said, held Tom Brady.
Yeah, that's why he wanted to leave and go to Tampa.
Agree.
Right. and that's what I'm saying. Like, so Josh Allen, look, I think he's a great talent, and I agree with you. There's not a lot of places he can go, but sometimes you just don't feel that things are going to work, and you just rather break it than sit there and try to continue to fix it.
And again, you know, 13 seconds away in that AFC Championship game a couple years ago when Mahomes came back with 13 seconds and beat them. They could have won that game and been there. Last year, a tough loss to the Bengals. Now Joe Burrow kind of maybe taking that leap over Josh Allen now these last few years when we thought Josh Allen was going to be the guy. That's what I'm saying. So, like, the last 2 years.
And there's another guy coming up the pike, and Trevor Sunshine
Justin Herbert.
Lawrence.
Sunshine.
Trevor Sunshine Lawrence.
Sunshine.
So, and we still ain't get to Josh Herbert.
Justin Herbert, yeah.
Justin Herbert that's been banged up a little bit and still getting his bearings right. So,
But let me ask you this now, JC. You talked about the James Harden comparison, and Matt said, you know, obviously it's different sports, but you don't see it as much in football, people demanding trades, right? It's a little bit more unpopular, but this would be, we believe, the second time that a player digs, second time that he's done that. You don't usually see it once, but this will be twice for him.
He asked out of Minnesota because he was jealous of Justin Jefferson. He's going to be the number one guy. That's why he asked out of Minnesota. This time, it's Josh Allen directly. You can see it. But the problem is, though, where will he be able to go?
Yeah, that's what Matt was saying.
Is the thing. So if I'm the Bills, I'm trading him to the NFC. He's not saying the AFC.
Well, so you'd say you actually, I think this is a non-issue the rest of the way. I don't think it even comes up again.
But I would say this. If they do trade him, be smart about it. He's still in his prime. He's still a top 10 receiver in the league. Get some assets and draft capital for him. Get a proven player and draft capital for him. And you can do that for a Stephon Diggs right now.
And again, though, if you're Buffalo, it's been like the last couple of years. It's win now mode, right, man? If you're Buffalo, they have the roster to win it now.
They
That's
don't.
That's what they're going for.
They don't. We know they don't.
So you're telling me that Buffalo should just rebuild? One of the top 6 teams in the NFL should just call it right now and rebuild?
No, not full rebuild, but I would say if he doesn't want to be there.
I don't think we've gotten to that point where it's an issue yet.
But I would say if he doesn't want to be there.
You're right. If they start off at 2-5 or whatever through the first 7 games, you're right. Then maybe, but I don't think that's going to happen.
At the same time, Phil needs on your team. If he wants to be traded, go get a running back. Jonathan Taylor's sitting out there right now who will complete your team. You can get him and another receiver for Stephon Diggs right now. Phil needs.
Well, that would be the key. You need to bring another receiver back because Gabe Davis ain't ready to be your number one.
No.
But I think
they're not. And that takes them right out of the Super Bowl contention.
They weren't anyway.
They're not in the Super Bowl contention now.
I think for you guys to say that is absolutely ridiculous. To say the Buffalo Bills are not in Super Bowl. So you're telling me there's no chance they get to the AFC Championship game?
No.
None.
What about? No chance?
None.
Let me ask you something.
Yes, please.
So when Kansas City last year did what they did, the reason why it blew a lot of people's minds is because, judging from the roster, they shouldn't have won. They had Kelsey. They had a okay offensive line.
Darius Toney.
Yeah, the defense was middle of the road.
Harden.
Juju.
Yeah, but you have Patrick Mahomes.
My God, Juju.
You have Patrick Mahomes. It doesn't matter. Listen to me. No.
Juju.
Coming into the season, who won them the game in the Super Bowl?
Juju
Smith-Schuster.
Travis Kelce.
On the play of the game that won Super Bowl was pass interference.
You mean the pass
on
interference?
a route by Juju Smith-Schuster who beat Bradbury.
Smith-Schuster. He's been trashed since Pittsburgh. Come on.
Listen, I'm not saying he's an all-world player, guys. You're hearing me wrong. But to say that coming into the season last year, Kansas City had no chance to win the Super Bowl.
You think he's a top 30 wideout?
No, but if you were to check Vegas coming into last year, Kansas City would have been a top 3 team to win the Super Bowl. No matter the roster.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
No, because of Pat Mahomes, though.
Yeah, you're right. I agree with you.
But when I sat here and we were talking about the Super Bowl, everybody was like, I don't know. I don't know.
Because if you had to pick a reason why they would lose, that would be it, because it ain't going to be his fault.
But they didn't have Tyreek Hill last year, so we didn't think it was going to happen.
Exactly.
Like that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, nobody thought about it.
Jerick
It's not
McKinnon
crazy.
was the second leading third leading.
I think
receiver.
the Niners making the NFC Championship with Brock Purdy was more insane than the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl.
But they had a top 3 defense, though.
And the Chiefs didn't have a top 3 offense?
No, not really.
I beg to differ, fellas. We're gonna have to get some statistics.
Okay,
on this.
top three offense. Where other than Mahomes and Kelsey?
It doesn't matter. It's all you need.
Actually,
That's how good those two guys are.
Chris Jones was a big factor for
that
team
defense.
last year.
Yeah,
and
he's a second best, third best
take care of
player.
him
And
when he
the
doesn't
middle
play.
linebacker, I forget his name. He was making tons of plays in the Super Bowl. I can't remember his name.
Nick Bolton was really good for that.
That's the one. That's the one.
Second year player out of
he made huge plays in the Super Bowl.
Missouri.
And one of my guys, my friend's cousin, plays for the Chiefs. Sneed, he's a good
yeah.
he's a good guy. He got a ring now, so.
This man said Smith-Schuster.
It's not like it's like a bunch of no names, like guys that can play wide receiver, guys that can play the position.
MVS.
It made some big
That's a
tackles.
great guy.
Scantling?
Come on, man. What are we doing here?
All they have to be is adequate. When you have Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Andy Reid calling your plays, you have to be adequate. If you're adequate, you're a winner.
Okay,
you're
let me ask you this.
It's that simple.
I know we got to get to our previews.
That didn't work anywhere else.
But before we get to them, how soon do the Chiefs need to draft a replacement for Kelce or the heir apparent to Kelce? Because he's getting up there in age.
Today.
Coming up.
Today.
Again, what is it? 8 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons.
Like
not even blows tight ends out of the water. I think he's got definitely. I think he's got this year. I think maybe
33,
one
yeah.
other year. What do you think? 2 years at the most?
I'll say 2
years
years
at
at the most.
We're all saying 2 years. Yeah.
So I think they drafted a replacement in the next offseason.
I mean, they're starting wideouts this year is Kadarius Toney, MVS.
If he can stay healthy.
Sky Moore.
Well, Scott must have a big season.
And Justin Watson. Yeah, but we don't know.
No.
We're theorizing because we liked them last year. I get it, but we don't know. That's it. I just, I don't know, man.
Nick's being a mastermind right now. He's
I'm
looking
about
for
to
something
get
here.
you something, but we may have to move on because it's taking me a little too long to find it.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I don't get this, man.
Ooh, we got to talk about the AFC South. Ooh, all right.
Well, let's jump into it then. AFC South preview, because let's see, guys, we went a little half hour here. We got a half hour to break down two divisions.
We got it.
We will do our best to do it. Let's talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars. Division winners last year, as you see, take a look on your screen from the standings of 2022. 9-8, Doug Peterson entering his second year. And we had our preview last year, fellas, and I took the Jaguars to win the division early in the season with Doug Peterson, and not a lot of people agreed, but they ended up doing it, and we'll see if they can do it again. Press Taylor back for year 2 as the offensive coordinator. Mike Caldwell back for year 2. So everyone entering their sophomore season in the coaching staff. Let's talk about some of the guys they brought in. Brandon McManus going to be their new kicker after Riley Patterson heads to Detroit. Dearness Johnson has been looking really good in the preseason. We'll see how he does. They drafted Tank Bigsby. He'll be the backup to Travis Etienne. Lost a few guys, but nothing really too big. Marvin Jones heads back to Detroit. Chris Manhurst, Shaquille Griffin, Arden Key, and Jawan Taylor. So, guys, the Jaguars, one of the surprise teams. Trevor Lawrence actually had a competent coach for the first time in a couple years after Urban Meyer. The Urban Meyer fiasco, one of the craziest things maybe in a long time.
Urban Meyer, you trash, bro.
From the guy coaching staff. Speaking of which, today is August 21st. Tomorrow, August 22nd, the debut of Swamp Kings on Netflix, the documentary about the 2008.
About your favorite football team.
Oh, man, I can't wait. I can't wait to check out.
Florida
I'm good.
I'm going to watch that
So we can talk about Cam Newton's laptops and
Oh, yeah, that was devastating. That was my background, was him and Tim Tebow back in the day before he got kicked out, and then that one hurt.
All-time mid-college QB being profiled. Check it out.
And Chris Leak.
Chris Leak, national champion. Oh, man, so much to talk about there. It's going to be a great thing. You know. Oh, no, we can't have this discussion. We don't have enough time. We're 30 minutes.
You talking about Pastor Mace, a.k.a. Tim Tebow?
Tim Tebow, yeah.
Mid at what, the NFL level?
He's mid-period, man. He was overrated in college, bro. Let's keep it a stack. He ain't better than Tommy Frazier in college.
Ooh.
Holla at me.
Ooh, I like that one.
Offensive.
Holla at me.
He was not better than Tommy Frazier.
Holla at me, bro.
He was better than Charlie Ward.
Holla at me, bro. Holla at me. Tommy Frazier, he better than Tommy Frazier?
Charlie Ward?
Charlie Ward? Where we going?
Listen.
Yeah.
This
Mike-
one,
wait,
I can do this one for
Yeah.
hours, so I'm not going to get
Mike
into this
Robb
one right now.
as a quarterback at Penn State? Ooh, people forget that. Mike Robb,
You know he ain't better than Tommy Frazier. I'm just going to let you live on that, though, bro. Go look at
Arguing
the
for
Tommy
another
Frazier.
time. See, I'm keeping my composure
But the
today.
Shout out to the 94 Nebraska, one of the greatest teams of all time. Something that
It
Florida
should have been
can't
full
say.
state trophy, but we're going to leave that alone right now.
Offensive line, though, worry, guys, for the Jaguars.
I'm a
19.
Seminoles guy, so yeah.
Power ranking 10 in the NFL this year, 9.5
like it.
over under 12 easy
like it.
schedule. What do you think?
I like it. And I would tell you, the biggest addition to this team this year is Calvin Ridley coming off suspension.
Big time. Absolutely.
Because if you already had playmakers and weapons and they went to the playoffs last year, adding a true number one who was still in his 20s, come on.
Is he in his 20s?
He's still in the 20s, like 28.
He kind of old, though.
But he's
I say that respectfully.
he's a fresh receiver off of no injuries.
That's true. That's true.
And
That's
still
right.
has the
That's
speed.
right. He got a
so-
whole fresh year out of him. We'll see if that helps
And
or
you
hurts
watch
him.
that training camp, the way he's getting out of his breaks right now.
Looks good.
But they choked in the playoffs last year. So no. They beat
They came back and beat the Chargers.
They
That
beat
was
the Chargers.
27-0.
Yeah, they
Now
came back.
Christian
They
Kirk
came
can
back,
be
yeah.
what he really is a number 2.
Yeah, Chris Kirk's a number 2. He got paid as a number 1.
Definitely. He definitely got paid as a
He
number
got
1.
some money. What was it, 80 million?
$80 million for 3 years, right?
And he revitalized Evan Ingram's career, because let's be real.
Revitalize it. Did he ever have one?
He had a little short
The rookie year? That's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
In New York, he had a little
Rookie year.
Yeah.
Then he got hurt after that.
I'm with you, yes.
But even in college, he was hurt every year. So I mean,
So we think over under 9.5 wins. They got the 12th,
over.
12th easiest
Over.
schedule
Over.
this year. Division
Over.
champs again. I mean, do we even have to go through? All right, so never mind. We will have this discussion here a little bit later. I thought we were going to Yanis and just end this one right
I'm
here.
going with them. Yeah, I'm going with them to win that.
So yeah, we'll do our division rankings a little later. You guys, so Matt, you just talked about it. Trevor Lawrence going to take that next step this year.
He definitely will.
Top 5 fantasy quarterback. It's a big top
Take him
5
in
stuff.
fantasy.
Top 5?
actually, yeah. His yards wise, yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So you know, Mahomes, Hurts, Allen, and then Lamar 4. Could Lawrence be
No,
5?
Lamar's outside the top 10 fantasy. I mean, the top 5 fantasy. He's like 6, 7.
Really?
I'm a Ravens fan saying this.
Yeah, I would say that.
Because you don't know what to expect with the passing game yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would say, like, draft him, like, between 6 and 10 in your draft.
Yeah.
Jaguars have a chance to win the Super Bowl this year.
No.
No.
On Madden,
Okay.
Yeah.
Not-
Get
well,
that
let's-
digital trophy.
Well, then
Ultimate
we
team.
will go to a team that for sure has no chance to win the Super Bowl, and that is the Tennessee Titans.
Jesus.
At a 2022 record at 7-10. Mike Vrabel's done a good job in year 6 now, but you look at that roster, guys, it lacks, some things to
Trash.
be desired.
This
There,
list
Tim Kelly
of losses.
going to be the new first-year offensive coordinator. They lost some guys. Their big signing was Andre Dillard, the backup for the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line. He's going to come in and be their
Shout out
left
to
tackle.
Will Levis's girlfriend.
Don't you disrespect DeAndre Hopkins like that going to Tennessee.
That's
Why
right.
did he disrespect himself going to Tennessee?
I don't know. I don't
Like,
know.
man.
He had some options, man.
Listen.
He wanted that 2-year deal. They were the only ones that would give it to him.
Kirk Cousins is Captain Mid, and Ryan Tannehill is
Senior?
Lieutenant Mid. Like, it's
He's like Sergeant, man. He's
Sergeant Mid, yes.
Sergeant Commander, man.
But I've
Brigadier.
never seen a quarterback make such a living off one player like he does with Henry. If he's not doing pass action, it's trash.
Well, you know what, guys? I will say this. The best thing about Tennessee Titans this year is that they'll be pulling out
That is
these
right, yeah.
these throwbacks here. But this is an original. This is the 97 Eddie George Houston Oilers. But yes,
Can we say that?
yes.
Can we bring back the Oilers name?
Oilers. Bring back the
That's
Oilers.
right,
man.
Matt. Again,
That
if you
Titans
didn't
name
know,
sucks, bro.
Matt, was it you say you were originally an Oilers?
Warren Moon fan.
That's right. So
That's
how
right. I go way
Oilers.
back.
So, how
Givens
about
and
that?
all those guys.
Chris Dishman.
Yeah, let's do that run and shoot, baby.
Bruce Matthews.
There you go. Let's do the run and shoot.
Guys, you look
Tecmo
down.
Bowl, holla at me.
We can move on from the Titans, but they're not doing anything.
Well, let's talk. I mean, like I said, I was just going to go down the numbers here. They're pretty bad. Offensive line, 32nd ranked coming into at the end last year. They'll be that same way this year. Power ranking, though, they do get that 23rd spot. So there's a couple, some teams that are coming in worse than them. They have the 9th easiest schedule in the league, over/under set at 7.5 wins, one of the lower totals out of any team this season. Quarterback situation, a little murky there. We'll see if Tannehill is the starter come the end of the year. I'm willing to bet he's not.
It's not.
we'll see.
I still like Malik Willis. I'm still big on Malik Willis. I don't care what anyone says.
I'm with you.
I'm
And
still
yet,
big on Malik
we knew
Willis.
it would take a couple years, right? That was kind of the
He's a
worry.
project to begin with.
Yeah, exactly right. So we'll see what happens.
I take him.
I'll take him right now. Look.
Hey, listen.
Haven't heard a lot of good things about
Titans want
Levis.
to trade him for Trey Lance. We open, bro.
That's actually like a realistic possibility.
I do it in a heartbeat.
I would do it in a heartbeat.
In a heartbeat.
Give me the league.
What's their ranking this year?
Power ranking?
23rd.
23rd.
7.5 wins. That's a low total. What do you think? 12th easiest schedule.
7 wins sounds about right.
7 wins sounds right.
So you're going
Because
under?
defensively, they usually do.
And that's
somewhat
a
decent
testament
on
to Mike
defense.
Vrabel
And they
again.
have Derek. You know what? I'm gonna be that oddball and go over
Okay.
Okay.
because you still have Derrick Henry.
They do, and we'll see. He's right, that cutoff, right? The running back cutoff, 28, 29 years old before they take that little fall off. He's right there. Somehow continues to do it. He's going to
has slowed down a touch.
a little bit.
though,
Yeah,
a
and
touch.
he's
has
starting to
actually,
be get a little hurt a little bit more.
Yeah.
And this year, again, he'll be behind, statistically coming into the season, the worst offensive line in the league. He'll see a lot of 8-man boxes.
Yeah.
He sees them anyway.
But that's the thing. Yeah, this will be the worst. This is potentially the worst offensive line he'll have had
Yeah.
in a season. So we'll see how that affects him this year in fantasy. Matt, where are you taking Derrick Henry?
I take him probably depending on where you pick.
Around the turn, maybe 12.
Around the turn.
That's what I was thinking. He's first year he might not be a first round pick in. Who knows how
I
long?
don't know. I had a draft the other day. He was still a first round pick.
In 10 or 12.
10.
10 makes sense. 10 makes sense.
Like 12 team, he's right around that 10 to 13 range,
Yeah.
10 to 14. So
Yeah,
we'll see if somebody.
I had the 6th pick. I went with Tyreek Hill.
I like that pick.
I don't know how you felt with 6, but I took
Yeah, he could
I
go
took him
early.
at 6. So.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
So we'll see the Titans. We'll see what to expect out of them this year. Let's keep it rolling with an interesting team that I'm going to have my eye on, not maybe to make the playoffs range, just because of new coach Shane Steichen and, of course, the quarterback out of the University of Florida, Anthony Richardson, one of the best combine performances out of a draft pick we've ever seen. Rocket arm. Doesn't have a lot of games played. The IQ still coming along. We'll see how he does. He's going to be the starter, Matt, right from day one.
Yeah.
What do you think about Anthony Richardson and the Colts this upcoming season and Shane Steichen's first year?
I think if you're a Colt fan, just go ahead and bring that paper bag out and just put it on your head. It's not going to be pretty. And look.
But that's the thing, right? Is that their intention? Maybe not to be as pretty this year. Obviously, they're not trying to win. They're trying to win the Super Bowl, but that's not the goal.
Yeah, this is going to sound like a backhanded compliment, and it's not.
So is it an insult?
No, it's like so it's like you're seeing the effects of Lamar Jackson with Anthony Richardson. I don't think Anthony Richardson would have been taken this high if not for Lamar Jackson doing what he did. What's the old saying? Like, he crawled so the other could walk. Anthony Richardson, look, more or less, that's what they're hoping for. That he goes in there and he has a Lamar-esque type ability. And look, I'll be honest with you, on the film, he's an amazing athlete in college. He does things in college most guys can't do. But IQ-wise, but like dissecting plays, he makes Lamar Jackson in college look like
I agree with
like he's Andrew Luck.
And I've
Well,
seen
Lamar Jackson in college was that guy.
Yeah.
I've probably seen every game he started and I do
course you
agree.
did.
I do agree with you, man.
Yeah.
He scares me a little bit too. I don't know if I would have taken him at 4. Like I said, I love what he's got. He needs the right coach. I think this is the right system. I think it's Shane Steichen, the way the Eagles ran with Jalen Hurts.
I think they need to sit him a year like the Titans did.
If he's going to succeed,
McNair.
this is the place.
I'll put it like this. The Colts have never sat their number 1 draft pick quarterback. They started Peyton Manning in 98. He went 3-13. They started Andrew Luck in 2012. I think he went like 6-10 or something like that.
Which is fine. I don't mind playing him.
I think the Colts actually end up with a winning record this season out of osmosis of the clear blue sky.
Ooh.
I think he breaks that.
Yeah, I ain't going.
I think he breaks that rookie curse in Indy with not winning games. I think because of his skill set, he'll catch a lot of teams off guard initially in the first half of the season.
Not mad at that.
They'll build enough wins.
Sure.
Like, what's going on here? Like surprising the first half of the season. Then maybe towards the end of the season they'll trail off. But I see them getting a few surprise wins early in the season.
I can see that.
So that's what I see right now because his skill set, you can't game plan for all the way because he has Lamar Jackson's speed, but Cam Newton power with his arm.
Oh, see, he can throw that thing
So it's
60
like-
yards on his knees.
And you still have good skill players. Even if they lose Jonathan Taylor, he still has decent skill players on the perimeter that he can throw to. So, and the defense is better than people give them credit for in Indy as well. So I mean,
and they got to stay healthy.
they can. But that's what I'm saying.
A lot of injuries last
Health
year.
is their problem. Health has always been their problem.
And again, Matt Ryan, now retired, working, I believe, with CBS, coming out and saying that his years there were a quote, and I used this quote last week. shit show was the quote out of Matt Ryan about his time in Indianapolis. So we'll see. So, offensive line, though, not bad coming in. That's one of the strong suits, right? 10th in the league.
Question for you guys, just being funny right now. So if Kirk Cousins is captain mid, right? Is Matt Ryan emperor mid?
Emperor mid.
He actually
But he went to the
got
Super
an
Bowl,
MVP
right?
now.
And he went to the Super Bowl. Last couple years, yeah. Since the Super Bowl loss to the Patriots, he could be up. But before that, man,
I feel you.
There
was a time where
he got an MVP, and then what happened after that? 23? Okay, all right. We're cool.
Yeah, but you can say the same thing about some other quarterbacks too, after they won their MVPs.
But Kirk Cousins is always the goal.
He's taking number one in the same draft, with Flacco being taken 20 something like that. The same draft.
Oh, that's right. Flacco was in that draft. Yeah. Shout out to Luhan.
And Flacco has a ring from that draft of quarterbacks.
He does.
Yes, he does.
He does.
I'm sorry. I digress.
32nd in point differential last year for the Indianapolis Colts. That was worst in the league, minus 138 total points. Jeff Saturday, I think we all forget that Jeff Saturday came in and coached them the second half of the year.
As a camera, please. As a Baltimorean, I don't care what Indianapolis does ever. You know, you left on the Mayflower in a snowstorm. You know, you packed your trucks up. You know, you told Mayor Schaefer that you had a deal, and your daddy took him to Indianapolis. So I can never say the C word ever as a Baltimorean, and I don't care what your team does, to be truthfully honest. But you guys are really a joke as far as the management of the franchise, and you have good players on that team, but I'm never going to cheer for anything that you guys do ever. So I'll leave it there.
Over under 6.5 wins, fellas. Third easiest schedule in the league this year, so not bad for Anthony Richardson. 6.5. That's the lowest, I believe, or second lowest in the league, maybe tied for the lowest. Over under 6.5.
That's why I'm saying over.
What's the?
They're in a bad division with the 6.5 total.
I give them 7. I think they can get 7. I think they get 7. I agree with Jason's theory that maybe they can't game plan and Richardson.
This is a tough.
Because you understand what I'm saying? Because. Yeah. That's how Lamar was. Once Baltimore finally benched Flacco and started Lamar in that rookie year, we won like 6 straight games.
We saw it with Justin Fields too this past season.
If the Colts win 7 games, that's a monumental success of a season.
I think they win 8, at least 8.
Ooh, they would be. Jim Irsay's smiling if he's watching this show, listening to Jason McCall today. I think Vegas is good because, like you said, 6 or 7. It's going to be, in my opinion, one of the 2 most likely. I'm going to go. Why not? I'm going to lay it out for my boy AR-15 and go over. I'll say 7.
He's AR-5 now.
That's right. He switched it.
He doesn't want the AR-15 reference
anymore. I remember hearing that, but I'm going to stick with it for right now. We'll see how it goes. We were talking about the new head coach, but we've got to touch on this because it happened as we were driving in here today. Jonathan Taylor seeking permission to get a trade or to seek a trade elsewhere. Colts are looking for first-round picks, and nobody's given them a first-round pick for a running back unless you're going to sign him to an extension after that. But to my opinion, it doesn't look like he's going to get traded.
He isn't going to get traded. You know that there's one team that's already in the mix for him.
Miami?
Yeah.
They're not going to give up a first-round pick for him.
Why wouldn't they? They'll need the first-round picks with the way our team's built right now. They really don't need the first-round picks.
You don't give up a first-round pick for a player, again, it's somebody that wants a new contract. That's all the top of his head. Wherever he wants to go, he wants that deal.
But do the Dolphins really need the first-round pick right now? With the way the roster is
How many do they have? Because I think they gave up one for Chubb, or second and third for Chubb.
Well, my thing is, though, I think the way they're constructed, I think they're good for a few years, like at least 3 or 4 years, honestly, on both sides of the ball. If you look at what they have and who they're still developing, I think they can get away with giving them a first-round pick if the prize is getting JT there. Okay, if you put JT on that offense with Tua and Tyreek and Waddle, they're already scared without him.
And again, Armstead, that's a big injury concern for me now. He's hurt again. That's the word out of camp. If he plays, again, one of the best lineman tackles in the league, he's banged up right now. So if Miami's really hoping that he's okay. But if you add Jonathan Taylor to the Miami team, a team that's already in the mix for a Super Bowl, that'll be, for that Mike McDaniel scheme, that could be deadly.
He's one of the running backs, where you talk about running backs who have great value, is still good right now. He's one of the running backs, you can plug him on any team, and he would get them at least a good 3 or 4
But
wins.
also coming off an injury, too. I mean, only been hurt once or twice in his entire life. Didn't get hurt in high school, college. Had that injury last year, or the end of 2 years ago, that lingered into last year. So coming off of that. But
I'll tell you a secret. Our running backs are hurt every year. Just don't tell everybody everything. They're always hurt every season. They just don't.
So you'd give up a first-round pick if you're Miami, a first-round pick
If my
Well, if it'll even cost just
if
one.
a team has a chance to get Jonathan Taylor and the price is a first-round pick, you give it up for him.
And again, if there's one team, I'm going to say it's Miami, because with that scheme and that running back depth they have, he'd be the perfect fit there. I think they should have gotten I don't know, man. What do you think? Eagles were listed. Sirianni, a huge Jonathan Taylor fan.
If Eagles get it, that'd be crazy.
He was the offensive coordinator when they drafted him out of Wisconsin. So what do you think? Does he stay? Does he go?
I think he's probably gonna. If the price is right, he'll go. I don't think the Colts are hell bent on keeping him, but I think it just depends on the offer that comes in. The right offer comes in, I think he's gone. But I'll say this: this is crazy with the running backs.
Yeah, it is.
The NFL has to figure out what they're going to do with this, and I don't know if it's probably going to be a CBA adjustment, because they're going to have to start paying guys more in their rookie years for running backs. Yeah. Because right now what's happening is these guys are hamstrung by the rookie contract, and then when they try to get their second contract, they've already been ran through. These guys have already carried the ball umpteen amount of times. Yeah. They've caught 40, 50, 60 passes a year. All that's a cumulative thing. And we're seeing running backs now that are just 2 years and that's it. It's crazy.
It's disrespectful, honestly. I mean, we came from an era, we grew up watching the greatest running backs of all time. We grew up watching the Barrys, the Emmets, the Walter Paytons, the Marshall Faulks, the Eric Dickersons. I mean, I can go down the line. I even give you Roger Craig, the first 1,000 back in the league. So to see how the trend has been the last really 7-8 years, I mean, I blame Todd Gurley. I blame Zeke. I blame Zeke Elliott's contract. I blame Melvin Gordon's contract. But at the same time, we're too pass happy.
Yeah, I don't blame them though. I blame the NFL's system that they've created. So like when we were kids growing up, a back might catch 20 balls.
20 balls a year, yeah.
And he'd run maybe 250, 260. If you had a workhorse, 300. You're in the 300s. Yeah. Now you've got these, like Christian McCaffrey, prime example. He was in Carolina and he was literally option 1, option 2, option 3. It was crazy. It's like, dude, you're working this guy at a level that he's gonna be. He's got no choice. He's gonna be burnt out. And that's the problem with the NFL structure right now. You don't just want these guys to run.
You want them to catch.
You want them to catch. And you want them to pass block, which is huge. Yeah. They want them to pass block now. And that's the problem.
I want up. You won this one. The running back position is coming devalued because we don't have any fullbacks anymore who can take up the blocking for the running back and make the holes for everybody else too.
Yeah.
Like we probably have 3 or 4 real fullbacks in the entire NFL. Everybody is either a blocking receiver, tight end, or running back. You have no fullbacks, and that changes offenses too.
People, again, fullback position, people would rather use that spot for a tight end or a special teams player as to hold a roster spot for a fullback.
San Fran's one of the few that has a fullback.
Yeah, and he took him from us.
Yeah.
And again, tight ends now playing a lot of fullback as well, backup tight ends.
He has a ring with us though. That's okay.
Appreciate it.
Let's finish off with the Houston Texans here, 3-13-1. New year head coach, new offensive coordinator, and new defensive coordinator, DeMeco Ryans.
Where'd he come from?
Huh?
Where'd DeMeco Ryans come from?
He was a coach for the Niners.
He was the big guy.
But he played for the Texans, though, sir.
But he's a 49ers.
He played for the Texans.
People wanted him. A lot of guys he was the big name going into this coaching cycle.
This is what we do over here. We get guys contracts.
They got some guys in the offseason.
Baltimore. just saying.
They had C.J. Stroud, Will Anderson. Well, they got Beckham. Ravens got Beckham in free agency.
Ooh! 3 years ago, it would have been better.
Yeah, he was something else. C.J. Stroud, Will Anderson. They add Robert Woods, Jimmy Ward, Dalton Schultz, Shaquille Griffin, Devin Singletary. Some big free agent acquisitions for the Texans. They lose some, though, as well. But whoever they lose last year might not be big. Listen, I'm not using the same scale for everybody, all right? It's big for some, which is little for others. All right, we're just.
Wow. This is bad, bro.
I can't even comment right now.
No, come on, man.
Let's hear it. What do you got? What do you got?
if an entire team were mid, there's two teams. This one, another team in another division that we're going to talk about next.
Yeah.
These are the two most mid teams in the NFL.
Arizona?
That's a fact.
Yes, indeed. But
Got
no,
you there.
I'm very happy for D'Amico Ryans. He had a great career. I think it was too short, in my opinion. Had a great career. Ended up with the Eagles, his last team he played for. But yeah, I like him as a coach. I like him as a player. I think he's going to do great things in Houston. But Houston has to keep him more than 1 year. I know they signed a contract, but they have a habit of letting people go after 1 year. So it can't. It can't be instant success for him right away. You can't ask for that.
And I think they know that, but again, we've thought they've realized that in the past.
I think the two best pickups for them, looking at this additions here, I would say
Kyle Allen,
Dalton Schultz, and Jimmy Ward.
Yeah.
I would say those are the two best pickups they've had. So.
And we'll see. I mean, obviously, when we had our draft preview show 2 years ago, this draft with Sauce, you know, who was the guy that was right there with him? Derek Stingley Jr., right, was one of the big cornerbacks that some people had ranked ahead of Sauce Gardner coming out of LSU and that draft.
Stingley's still a beast.
I was going to say, he'll have to say, well, it'll be a big year for him if he can stay healthy. Hopefully, he helps them out defensively. Hopefully he'll take that next step. 6.5 wins, coming in as 31 power rank out of 32. They got C.J. Stroud. He looks a little bit better in the last preseason game over the weekend. Will Anderson had a few big plays in that game as well. And again, I'm not saying they're going to light the world on fire, even win 4 games. Just giving a little optimism to Houston here. What do you guys think? Can they get over the 7th easiest schedule in the league? Over under at 6.5 wins. They play in a bad division.
They're going under.
Under. There ain't no way.
They're battling for
I'm
a
under
top 3
too.
pick.
I'm going with you.
There ain't no way.
Under. They're going to have a top 3 pick in a quarterback-heavy draft.
They're battling for Marvin Harrison Jr.
Or that would
Jared
be
Verse
that
from Florida State.
That should
I
be
would
what they go
draft
for, Marvin Harrison
Jr.
Yes, that's who I would take
I
too.
would. Yeah. I mean, he has potential to being better than his dad. That's saying a lot.
I mean, when you're bringing in Robert Woods and Devin Singletary on offense, like it's just.
So not much to say there before we move on to the NFC West. We've got a short amount of time. Not even sure we can get to the NFC West.
We'll get through it. Don't worry about it.
We'll get through it quickly, but let's pick our division winners then right here for the AFC South. Took him last year, but I take him again this year. Dougie P, 2 years in the division, 2 years as the division champ. Give me the Jaguars. Not underdogs, but I'll take him again.
Where you going?
Don't tell me he's about because he's made some crazy.
I'm going
It was
Jacksonville.
funny at first.
Where you going?
Yo, if he says the Titans, if he wore that jersey to say the Titans, what do you know who's playing?
No, I'm gonna D going worse. Don't be shocked you see a worse than first.
Oh,
You just did this last week.
wait a minute.
How many worse than first?
It happens all the time.
I thought we just wait a
We
minute.
just did this with
No, I'm lying.
Second worst, you
No,
said.
I'm lying. I do think the Jaguars win this division. There's no way.
Okay.
Oh man, you set us up. You set us up. You thought you were about.
No. Jacksonville.
All right, cool. All right, we thought you was coming.
Jacksonville
in.
Jacksonville has a chance to run this division for the next 3 years.
Agreed. Defense
Like,
got to stay good.
That
Get
team
good.
is loaded. This is probably the best Jaguars team.
Says David Garrard.
I'm gonna do even better since the Mark Brunell early teams with Jimmy Smith and Keenan McCall.
McCardell.
Fred Taylor.
Fred Taylor teams.
Florida Gator, baby.
Should be in the Hall of
Hall
Fame.
of Fame.
Fame.
Let's get that going.
Shout out to the
Hall of
Pivot.
Fame.
No, great podcast.
Yeah.
We're going to run through now. That was the AFC South.
gonna run
We're all
through
going
this.
the Jaguars in the AFC
Correct.
South. We're going to run through the NFC West
Yeah.
just for the sake of today's show.
Cardinals next.
Obviously, do not listen to the head coach here in Arizona. Is now the former defensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles, Jonathan Gannon. Left Philly on a sour note, taking that deal during Super Bowl week. Didn't actually settle with the Philadelphia fans too well, and he wasn't
That's why y'all
preparing
lost.
for the Super Bowl. Taking job interviews instead. 4-13 last year. Kyler Murray tearing that ACL in early December. He's going to be out at least half the season, and we'll see how they do because odds are they might not bring him back.
The starting quarterback is Colt McCoy.
Is Colt McCoy. They add Kazir White as their big free agent signing from the Eagles. Great
bad,
there. They
bro.
lose a couple guys. Offensive line goes from being ranked 24th at the end of last year to 31st coming into this year. So the Cardinals, one of those teams, in my opinion, if Kyler Murray, and I think they will hold him out. I don't think they'll play him this year. Just how I feel, there's no point. I think they'll be, like you said, Matt, earlier, about one of those teams that are going to be battling for the number 1 pick.
And they changed the uniforms to that great value NFL Europe style uniform.
Yeah.
Like it's horrible. Like
Yeah, Shorty Doo-Wop is in trouble, man. Shorty Doo-Wop in trouble.
We knew this was going to come eventually with him getting injured and a major one. He's too small.
Did you see that pic, that longest yard picture?
Yeah, I did with the tank tank
Doing
top.
that Ezekiel Elliott. It's not working.
It's supposed to be a tracker to track his movements, etc. That's what they say.
He should have taken the baseball deal.
It would have been paid a lot of money.
He's #1 pick in baseball too.
But did get his contract last year. He got his deal though. He got his money.
Better outfielder than his quarterback.
Yeah, it could be.
That's not knock on him being an NFL player, but I know that watching him play baseball, he's still a better baseball player than he's a football player.
You never know. Maybe he goes and gives that a shot here. 30 power ranking guys, 32, last in the league coming into this year.
And they're gonna stay last.
Over under is the lowest in the National Football League, guys. 4.5 wins is the number for the Arizona Cardinals. 22nd easiest schedule. So on the back half too, it's going to be tough for Arizona.
3 wins.
Yeah, I'm going with that.
They're going 3-14 again.
I'll go 3 wins. I'm going there.
3-14 again.
They're going to battle with Houston.
And I also don't think Jonathan Gannon's going to be a good head coach. So I'm just going to say that as well. So we'll see.
Why he left you guys on the Super Bowl?
No. I didn't like him when he was in Philadelphia. I thought he got too much hate. People just love to hate for no reason. I thought the defense was good. You can't blame him for everything. But I just didn't think. I watched some of the interviews and some of the stuff. You've seen him interact with his players and stuff. Yeah, he's an oddball, man. I don't know.
Goof.
Yeah, I think exactly. I think he's goofy. So we'll find out how he does. Mike LaFleur is, I'm jumping out. Let's jump to the Rams here now. Another team that could be at the bottom of the barrel, depending how their season unfolds early. Sean McVay, Super Bowl champ a couple years ago, back for year 7. They get Mike LaFleur. He comes over from the New York Jets. He'll be in his first year as the offensive coordinator there. Raheem Morris is back as the defensive coordinator. 2 additions, guys. 2. The entire offseason. You see the losses here. There are a bunch of them. They trade for Hunter Long, a tight end who had an abysmal season last year, and they signed a backup quarterback, Brett Rypien, to a $1 million deal. That's it.
You put that man's name as that's Brett Rypien.
He's
the son of Mark Rypien.
Excuse me,
of the Washington football team.
Right
Super Bowl.
Excuse me. I apologize.
And he has an arm. He has an arm though. He has an arm.
He looked like his dad.
No, he doesn't. He does like his dad.
Unfortunately.
Well, either way, he's the highlight of the Rams offseason.
No, I would say Stetson Bennett is.
Free agent acquisitions.
Shout out to 26.
And we may see Stetson Bennett here
Another
this year.
Another Georgia quarterback on the team, you know?
Is he like Chris Winkie, where he's like the second oldest?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's gotta be.
He's older than Trevor Lawrence.
But Stetson played football the whole time. While Winkie played baseball first. That's the difference.
Winkie was 28.
28 when he got drafted.
Yeah, that's right.
So coming in, offensive line, not good. The defense on paper, guys, and you can go over, I don't have it listed here, but if you look at the depth chart and look at some of these guys up and down that defensive roster,
Trash.
it's one of the worst rosters, at least on paper defensively, I've seen in the last
Look where
10
he lost.
years.
Look where he lost.
They didn't even try to put out. They've got, I think, 2 players on the defense that might even be recognizable. Aaron Donald's one of them.
That's it.
So their defense, I don't know if they're trying to
And
tank
there's
or
talk
what
he
the
might
game
get
plan
traded.
is.
There's talk he might get traded.
But to come into the season with this roster, I don't know
He
what
wants-
they're hoping to
there's talk
accomplish.
he might want to be traded.
I mean, I think he's done everything he can do in the Rams uniform.
Yeah.
I mean, he already came over to move from St. Louis to L.A. He getting up there in age too, though. He should have retired like he said he was going to the first time.
But here's the thing, too, right? Matthew Stafford hurt last year. Cooper Kupp hurt last year. I mean,
Yeah.
they threw Baker Mayfield out there the last couple of games of the
he
season.
won the,
They signed him off
He
the
won the
couch.
game off the couch, though.
Yeah,
So,
signed him off the
you know.
couch. But you come into this season, Matt Stafford's supposed to be back, supposed to be healthy, supposed to be the quarterback. Cooper Kupp supposed to be back, supposed to be good to go, ready to go week 1. The offense, again, on paper, with Stafford and Kupp, could do good things. But the defense isn't going to really give them a chance to win. What are the Rams trying to accomplish here?
Matt Stafford hasn't been healthy since the Super Bowl.
I think this could be his last year in the league.
And
What do you
Matt
think about
Stafford
that?
honestly really hasn't been healthy since he got
Yeah.
traded to the Rams.
Agreed.
He really hasn't been healthy in like 6 years. He's always had these
Is this
injuries.
his last year in the league?
I would say next to the last.
But
Yeah.
with the Rams, I heard the Rams are trying to trade him in the
They were.
offseason.
They've been trying to trade him. Yeah. They've been
After he
trying to
wins
trade
the
no
Super
bite
Bowl,
in
I think this might be his last year.
Yeah. There's no redeeming value.
him for Matt
Yeah.
Stafford. I mean, he got Super Bowl. It was great.
That's why, again, if you're in a fantasy league and you're picking in that mid to first round range and you're thinking maybe Cooper Kupp, his numbers should be good, but it's just hard to tell what the Rams season is going to look like down the line. They could end up shutting him down for the second half of the season because who knows how their record is going to be, all depending on the health of Matt Stafford. And they're going to be in shootouts if Stafford plays because that defense is going to be able to stop a nosebleed.
No. And maybe Cam Akers. I think Cam Akers has a little.
Well, if we're going to be honest, they weren't stopping people with Jalen Ramsey back there last year either. But
It's going to be, if we thought that was bad, I just wait.
You tell
just
me.
wait.
Tell
See
me.
how it goes. Power ranking
Jalen
30,
Ramsey, baby.
7.5 wins.
I love him, but he's
Extra
on the
sauce.
he's on the
15th
back
easiest
end
schedule.
of his 15 ring
That's
schedule.
Yes, he is. Over and a half, 7.5 wins.
None of that.
None win? No
No,
wins?
I mean under. Under.
Yeah, I'm going under as well.
Under?
5-12.
Yeah, under for sure. Absolutely under. In fact, I may go to Delaware Park after this just to take that one. Seahawks, let's move on to them. A surprise team from 2022. 9-8. They made the playoffs. They get rid of Russell Wilson. He wants to throw more, and they throw more without him because they got a guy with a cannon, Geno Smith.
Geno.
Lighted it up last year. Pete Carroll in year 14 making waves with his quarterback play. You guys seen those videos from training camp?
He out there swinging. He's throwing no-look
slinging it.
passes.
They add Bobby Wagner coming home to Seattle to play linebacker. Could be big for them defensively, at least emotionally. Devin Bush, the former Steeler, Mario Edwards, and some losses there, guys, as well.
That was a shot.
But I like Bobby. I think he'll be both. I think he'll be good emotionally. I think he's going to help them just overall
he can still
defensively.
play.
I think he can too. I really do. Number 27 offensive line drops to number 30 before the year. So that's the one issue for them. Kenneth Walker's health has been an issue. He's banged up heading into camp. I like what they did in the draft, though. Witherspoon out of Illinois, going to be a lockdown corner, at least you would think. I loved him there. I think he's going to give maybe a sauce-like impact for that defensive sauce side for the Jets. Jay has said, Jason Smith and Jigbo, the wide receiver from Ohio State, who I really like, as we talked about in our draft show. And I'm missing and Zach Charbonnet.
Derek Hall, too.
Yeah, and Derek. So, I mean, I like what they did in the draft. They're
did a
16th
very
in
good
the league,
draft.
8.5 over-under guys this season. Can Geno do what he did again last year? Matt, is he going to be able to do that and lead the Seahawks back to the playoffs?
I don't think he'll repeat the same numbers, but I think he'll have a good year. I mean, I think they can get. Yeah, I think they can get 10 games.
Also taking the over of 8.5. What do you think,
I'm
Jason?
over. I'm on the Geno wagon again, man.
10th easiest schedule. I like that for them. They were a playoff team last year. I agree with Matt. I don't think he'll put up the same numbers, maybe that you would like to see. But if they win games, it doesn't matter. That's what it's about. I think DK Metcalf's going to find the end zone more. For him not to score at that rate last year was just something you don't see. I'll give me the over. I think 9 wins for the Seahawks this year. So let's take us to the San Francisco 49ers. We round out the NFC West and our show on a Monday night here. 13-4 NFC Championship appearance, 7-1 with Brock Purdy since when he entered. 7-year for Kyle Shanahan. No offensive coordinator, of course. Defensive coordinator Steve Wilks stays. They get Steve Wilks to come over and run that defense after losing me too. D'Amico Ryans.
Yeah, he got the raw deal in Texas.
You see some of those losses and additions.
Arizona and Carolina.
Okay, yeah.
2 teams.
It happened twice.
Happened twice.
Man.
Yeah.
Free David Culley. Where's my man David Culley at? Did he retire? Or is he
had to. He was old.
I think he did retire.
Like 70 when he got a job.
Offensive line goes from 7 to 18 here for San Francisco. 5th in fast blocking last year. They lost their starting right tackle in the offseason.
was
lost a
massive.
guard. Still coming in at the 3rd power rankings in the
Lost
NFL.
his starting
Matt,
quarterback.
Talk to us here about the Niners. Brock Purdy said is looking pretty good. You got Darnold, who's supposed to be looking good in that system at training camp. Trey Lance maybe as the number 3. Defense going to be good. Nick Bosa holding out for a little while. What's your outlook on the season?
I think we'll do well. I mean, I think we can. I don't know if we'll get 13 wins this year, maybe 12. But I still think they're a really good team. Obviously, the biggest problem for us is going to be QB. As much as I'd love to say I think Brock Purdy is going to be great, he is a 7th round draft pick. No matter how we slice it, and he could just be that aberration where he had a great season. We don't really know. We don't know what he is yet. We're going to find out this year what he is, because now everybody has tape. Now everybody knows now not to take him for granted, and people are going to study to try to break him. So we're going to see. And I think the offensive line was massive. I mean, Mike McClinchy is a guy that we drafted from out of Rutgers. We really had a great, command of the offensive line. Had a lot of highly respected in the locker room. I think he's going to be a huge loss. I do like the fact that we picked up Jason Hargrave from the Eagles. We got some decent, but I also think that's why we spent so much money getting a 4th QB in Brandon Allen.
How about that?
Brandon Allen.
Brandon Allen got in games last year.
Yeah.
I believe it was the Bengals.
But Brandon Allen?
Yeah, we paid $1 million for him as a 4th stringer.
I haven't heard his name.
How about this? How did the Niners get the 5th easiest schedule
Because the NFL likes
this year?
NFL gods like San Fran.
10.5 over under, fellas.
However, it's not going to matter this year.
And why is that?
You smell that? Smell that
'Cause
heat?
No,
Hate in the air?
no, I smell a BS team
Oh!
at quarterback.
BS team.
At quarterback.
We talking about BS teams.
Rabbit's foot luck last year.
Rabbit's foot luck
with Brock Purdy. Under 10 wins.
Under 10 wins.
So wait a minute, let me ask you this. How is Brock Purdy luck, but Geno Smith's not luck?
Geno Smith, he's already in that system for a few years.
But
it's a difference.
But he's 32 years old, and it took him that many years to break out.
He matured, so what? It still was in the system for like 4 years. People forgot he was only in the NFL. He was in the Seattle for 4 years and not in the system. That should have happened last year, what he did.
No, that was you think what he threw last year was normal? He was a top 10
he
QB.
He knew the system, yes.
I mean, he was a top 10 QB.
Yes, I think that's normal. For being in the system for 4 years, learning behind Russell Wilson, yes. I do think that's normal.
I think we're being a little disingenuous here. You get a guy like Geno Smith, who's been a hanger-oner for most of his career, and you're telling me you expected him to have a top 10 career? I mean,
but yeah, like Geno Smith didn't have the skill set, the makeup of a top-tier quarterback just didn't pan out like at first.
If we looked at the preseason projections, no one thought that Geno was
we didn't. No.
They were one of the teams that were supposed to have one of the worst records in the league.
Yeah,
they were supposed to have a lottery pick.
They were supposed to, yeah.
However,
just saying,
I don't trust anybody who have a quarterback. That's my problem.
Well, neither do I. So I'm with you.
Like, do you not trust them to win the Super Bowl? Do you not trust them to make the playoffs? How far does your trust go with them?
They don't make the playoffs this year.
Ooh,
what?
Ooh.
Come on,
Jason McCall with a hot take.
Come on, man. What are we doing here?
No,
what are we doing here?
Listen, hear me out. This is not disrespect in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
it really isn't.
I'm not a delusional San Fran fan. Go ahead. I'm listening.
I just think the quarterback play is going to rear its ugly head. I think, like you said, that people have tape on Brock Purdy.
Right.
And you can't trust Sam Darnold as far as you can throw him. And Trey Lance is Trey Lance.
Well, you can't throw Sam Darnold because you'll break him, but yeah.
And Trey Lance is Trey Lance. Like, he doesn't even have enough. He doesn't even have 25 games of any football experience. So, it doesn't even matter. So that's my thing.
I'm not mad at that take. I just, man, it would have to be a really bad,
it would have
really
to be,
bad
it would have to be like the
play.
Rams year last year, health-wise.
Because they have so many weapons. And let me just say this.
Weapons where?
On the offensive side, they have.
Look,
listen, we can say whatever we want.
Side of the ball.
We can say whatever we want, but the one thing we cannot say is
a weapon, yeah.
Kyle Shanahan does not do great at disguising the offense.
Yeah, the offense. Yeah, he can do that.
He does tremendous at that.
But can your offensive players stay healthy? Because all your key players were out at different points of the year last year.
Oh,
that's the goal, right?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, I don't know, but I think Elijah Mitchell will help spell off some of McCaffrey's wear and tear. I think.
Can Debo stay healthy this year? Can Kittle stay healthy this year?
Well, Kittle's always going to miss.
I think
games.
Debo's in better shape. I think Debo will be healthier this year.
Can Brandon Ayuk take the next step?
Well, that's a huge question.
I think that's Purdy's guy. I think Purdy likes Ayuk and Kittle. I think those are his two guys. I think Ayuk has a good year this year.
But I'm not mad at your take. To me, it's just like, and look, your take makes sense because I don't have full belief in Brock Purdy either. I'm not one of these people that's like, oh, he's going to be Tom Brady.
Okay, so is he Tom Brady or is he C.J. Beathard? Another former.
He's better than Beathard by a mile.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
By a mile.
Yeah.
Is he better than Mullins?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I'm telling you, Mullins was actually.
I don't know.
He was okay.
That I don't know.
Mullins was actually
Mullins is actually good.
Yeah.
So let's pick this division here, guys, real quick.
Yeah.
NFC West, Jason, it's not the Niners, or is it still going to be the Niners that win the division? You said not make the playoffs, so no, it can't be. Who do you got?
Can't be the Niners.
We're kicking it off with you. You know what? Let's kick it off with your winner.
A lot of hate, though.
This division is so trash to begin with. Honestly.
Wow. You think a lot of these divisions are trash, and you're right for the most part.
I actually like the Seahawks to win this division this year.
He amped up the Geno. He raised us a Geno Smith.
Raised the Geno.
What do you think?
I mean, I'm going with San Fran.
San Fran. I'm going San Fran. That's what I was Jersey say. They're going to be my pick to win the NFC West. San Fran finished second. You think it's a battle throughout the year, or what are you thinking? Comes down to the last couple of games, maybe a matchup with them both.
Listen, it's a battle between Seattle and San Fran. Everybody in the NFL world knows this already. There's no other team that even come remotely close to
You're
that division.
absolutely right. Absolutely.
So let me ask you this: what's
two-horse race here?
What's your record projection for? And I'm asking this because that's your take. And you're one of the few that's going to make this take this year. What's your number for San Fran?
Over under 10.5.
Under, I think.
Fifth easiest schedule.
Which
is crazy.
Which is crazy. It is.
I think San Fran blows that schedule and goes 8-9.
8-9.
So wait, no, all right, now I was gonna say
We got it on tape.
I
folks.
thought you picked the Titans, but he did chip the Jaguars, so he's all good there. So I can't give him too much grief here today. So I
got him
can't
on
blame.
tape.
I'm
But
going
they can,
Niners.
but they can go 10-7 as well. So it's like you can
Don't flip it. Don't flip it.
Okay, no,
8 and 9.
8 and 9.
Okay, 8 and 9. Here we go. There we go.
And I got Seahawks.
We got him.
And I got Seahawks going 12-5.
So let me ask you
Okay.
this then, Jason.
I ain't mad at that.
Who finishes with a better record in the NFC, the Detroit Lions or the San Francisco 49ers?
Detroit Lions. I'll take that money right now.
Wait a minute. You talking about QB play and you're talking about Detroit Lions with Jared Goff? Are you kidding me?
Golf looking good, Ben
You
Johnson.
kidding me right now?
Playoffs? Can't be playoffs.
Come on now. What are we doing
It
here?
was a better record.
Better record.
San Fran got a better record than Detroit, man. What are we doing here? What?
We're going to talk
I
about
got
the
Detroit,
NFC
man.
North next week. You
You
can
don't
catch
believe
us
this. You don't
back
believe
on a Monday night. Again, getting underway here now is the Ravens and the Commanders. And
Yes,
as
they
always,
are.
Jason ready to go here tonight.
Gotta switch it up. This is my real team.
Was it
right
25 straight?
Here. It's 24 straight. It should be 25 after tonight.
24 straight.
Shout out to the
preseason
richest
wins.
mid quarterback of all time. Right there. Get that
And I
jersey.
tell you, man, a great donation to the University of Delaware.
Alex Smith? Oh, I'm sorry. What happened? Oh, leave me alone. Yeah.
He's
He's
got a
not
ring.
mid.
He's got a
He's-
ring. He's got a ring.
Yeah.
Got a ring.
He's got a
man.
ring. He's got a ring.
He's got a ring.
Y'all going to say Patrick Mahomes' ring is Alex Smith's ring? Really? That what we doing?
Oh, no.
No, I'm doing
No,
that.
this guy has a ring as he
Oh.
earned the ring.
Here we go. What is this Dennis's question of the week?
Oh, this ain't no question. That's what I'm talking about.
It's easy.
You know what it
This
is.
is
This is
easy.
easy. This
Gators
is
by
easy.
20.
This is easy.
This is easy.
Gators by 20. They don't have the athleticism to keep up with that Florida Gator team.
This
Not
is
even
easy.
close. They run all over the place. All over.
Wait. That's a question.
2008 Florida Gators.
I read tonight. This is question of the week. With the NFL football season about to start, what was the greatest college football team? Ooh.
Not a chance.
Not a
bro.
chance in hell.
Not a chance
Oh
in
my
hell.
God.
Not a chance in
Hey,
hell.
Not a chance
it's right.
in
And
hell.
again, well,
Listen,
there's no
no,
correct answer
No,
here.
no, you know what? It's not even hate on the Gators.
Yeah.
They're just not the greatest college football team.
I have Miami up there too.
I would know. The greatest college football team of all time is the 2001 Miami Hurricanes.
You can't hate that.
Yeah,
I don't
I
hate
ain't
that.
hating that.
I don't hate that either. And like
I
I
ain't
said, I have
hating that.
Gators right there with you, but I can't hate that. You can't say nothing about
2001
that.
Miami Hurricanes. I'm not even going on the list of players that play in the NFL just from that one team alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's absolutely wild.
It's wild.
It is wild. I
And
can't hate that.
I would
so.
even argue, one could argue that 94 Nebraska team. You can argue,
72 USC. It's considered.
you can argue USC in a few years. You can even argue that the 05 Reggie Bush USC team.
Shout out to 1924 Army.
Team was filthy. Absolutely.
You can argue 91 Miami, 88 Miami. I mean, you can argue Florida State and
2019 LSU.
And
Pretty decent.
that's you're right about teams up there too.
the Alabama teams of the mid 2000s.
Florida ain't even in the
And it's funny too because that's AJ McCarron's squad that were so good. I know you hear AJ
2018
McCarron, but he was great at Alabama. And
Florida,
again,
so basically what we're saying is Florida's not even in the top five. That's what we're really getting at. Shout out to all the better teams that are not
Oh my
named Florida because they're
well,
trash.
this is a good question there, Dennis, because this week we kick off college football on Saturday. Some big time matchups.
Yes, we do. Got some HBCU games this week too.
Right, and
Who's the
Notre
worst?
Dame in action on Saturday afternoon. I believe I forget who they play. I think
Yeah.
it's the primetime game. I don't know who plays.
And real quick, can we gotta make a public service announcement. First of all, shout out to the Pac-4. I want you guys to come back.
Man, how they take the Pac-12 after dark away?
Number two, Notre Dame. It's time to get down and lay down. You gotta pick a side, bro. This independent thing, bro. Look, everybody's dying. You gotta just pick one, dog.
What they should do
ACC?
is just come to the ACC
Just
full
come
time
to
football
ACC.
team.
Exactly.
That's what they
just
should
get
do.
it done, bro.
Don't say it. Well, in conclusion, on today's show, the 2008 Florida Gators are labeled as the best college football team of all time.
No.
For Jason McCall and Matthew Maurer, Dennis behind the glass, another great show on a Monday. We'll be back here now every Monday night at 7 o'clock. So make sure you check us out. We'll be ahead of Monday Night Football here in a couple weeks as well, but a lot going on. USC basketball gets started on Saturday. Closing comments, guys, we're looking forward to this week.
I'm looking forward to just sports in general. Like it's a great time to be a sports fan, whatever sport you like. So looking forward to just another great week of sports. I'm looking forward to watching the Orioles continue to win in the AL East.
right,
That's what I'm
yeah.
looking forward to right
O's.
now. The O's.
I like that. Young, too, man. I'll tell you, the Orioles are on to something. Man, what are you going to look for this week?
It's actually my birthday coming up, so.
Oh!
Yeah, I'm chilling
Wait
with
to
the
tell us so
family.
on the air.
You wait to tell us now, yeah.
Yeah, man, I'm smart that way, you know. Not gonna have y'all pop too many old man jokes, so you know. Yeah, I turned a big 4 or 5.
Let's go.
So you know,
To have a live show for his birthday.
there you go.
Dennis, how's that sound? We're going on a trip. We're going to Vegas for that Canelo and Charlo fight. September
Yeah,
30th.
you heard it here first, guys.
Again, shout out to Ak.
DETV Sports in Vegas.
We had a chance to chat with Ak about that this morning on Good Morning Wilmington, so look for that as well. So, guys, another great show today. We got through 2 divisions today. So we have the Jaguars
Heavy
taking it.
lifting
And
there.
of course, we split a little bit on the NFC West, 2 Niners and a Seattle Seahawk from Jason McCall. So that'll do it for us here tonight. Check out some preseason football. We'll see you next week.
Go Ravens.